in both groups. I think it'll probably end up on YouTube. So if you guys haven't had a chance, please make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/James Festini, where I put out content, man. If you've never heard of me before or seen me before, I am a content creation machine. I put out a lot of free sales training and advice and ideas. And, the unique part about what I'm doing here for you is that I'm in the trenches every day. Like, I just came back from door knocking. I prospect. I go out and do presentations. I work with buyers. I'm not on the stage. I'm not the biggest sales trainer and coach on the planet by any stretch of the imagination, but I've got the stripes to prove it. And I really want to emphasize to you all my level of sincerity and well wishes for you in this industry. Generating 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads in this business it's a moving target. It's remained the same let's look back at the history of lead generation let's just go back to the 50s. From the 50s till about the year 2000, cold calling and door knocking were pretty much it for outbound prospecting. Now, let me lay down the foundation here. There are 2 methods by which you generate leads. And I'll define the lead. Give me a second here. I'm going to define a lead so that you understand what I'm talking about when I say this. A lead is an individual who says maybe. An individual who can say maybe. So when we're talking about a lead, we're talking about somebody who can say maybe. Somebody who can say maybe. Now, it could be maybe a month, maybe a year. But if you're planning on being in this business for more than a year, a lead is a lead, and never dismiss a maybe. Don't ever think that because they're not motivated now that you might not need them later, because you will. I assure you of this. Don't dismiss leads. Leads are individuals that you're going to follow up and communicate with and build a relationship. So what is a lead? A lead is a person. Here's another variation of what I say is a lead. A lead is somebody who can say no, but they don't. I'll repeat that. A lead is somebody, a homeowner or a home hunter, who can say no to your product or service, but they don't. Well, what does that mean? That means that they said maybe, and they can say maybe. It's a pretty simple definition. A lead is an individual who can say no, but they don't. A contact, let me go deeper into that definition. You want to write it down, you can. A contact is an individual who can say no, but maybe they don't. It's a play on words, right? A lead is somebody who can say no, but they don't. And a contact is somebody who can say no, but they don't. Or maybe they do. You guys are like, I'm confused. What I'm getting at is a lead is an individual who has the authority to give you a yes or a no in the future. So by that, I call a lead anybody who can say yes, and maybe they do. So from the 50s, let's say from the beginning of time, the beginning of time before the invention of the telephone, there was sales, and we are salespeople. Whether you like it or not, we have to sell ourselves. Whether you want to call it branding or exposure or whatever you want to put a label to it, you have to convince people that you are the best at what you do, or that your product is the best out there. And the only way that that's possible is to sell yourself as an individual. Even if it's just, I can't imagine that you cringe at the possibility of being called a salesperson. This is a sales industry and you sell houses. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't the licensing just change from like salesperson to, I don't know, I think it's consultant or something. They didn't even want to say sales. We're salespeople, but that's not a bad word. We're not car salespeople. We are honorable profession. If you believe that your product is worthwhile, and if you believe that you are honest and you do your best and you continue to educate yourself, and if you're convinced you're good, like if you know in your heart of hearts that when somebody in your neighborhood has a sign that pops up, your neighbor's sign pops up, if in the pit of your stomach, even if it's the number one agent in town, you look at me like, man, that should have been mine. Why would it have been yours? Why would you think it was yours? Because you deserve it, because you would have cared more, because that other agent, whatever. You know what I mean? So you want to have this sense of ownership for what your capability is when you go out to find these 1 to 3 leads. Because if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the knowledge and experience, or at least at minimum, have the knowledge or the confidence to say that I am the best, then generating 1 to 3 listing leads a day is going to be pretty hard, because if you can't convince yourself that these individuals are they deserve your service, or that you deserve their contract, that's not good. So you have to have in order to, and I'm laying the foundation here, because in order for you to generate a listing lead, you have to believe that you deserve it. You have to earn it. So let's go back from the 50s from the beginning of time. There have only been 2 methods. You could either pay for it, or you could go out and get it. Since the beginning of time, you could pay for it, meaning you could run bus benches. This is before the internet. Let's talk before the internet. This was bus benches, fly swatters, pot holders, newspaper, print ads. There were ways to generate names from people who were getting your mailers. A farm, remember, print ad, sending out 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper or smaller 3 by 5 cards and sending them in the mail in massive bulk stacks. Anybody who's been in the business before the internet, that was it. You had to either pay for it, or you go out and get it. And the only 2 ways to go out and get it from the beginning was telephone prospecting and door knocking. That was it. There was only 2 ways to go out and get it, and there were only 1,000 ways to have it come to you. So let's identify these 2 in the beginning, so that we all have an agreement that there are only 2 ways to generate business. Even today, you either go out and get it, or you pay for it to come to you. Now enter the internet era. We have this internet era. In my honest to goodness opinion, the only thing the internet did for real estate agents was replace the newspaper and the farm package onto a digital media platform. I mean, think about it. You're still sending digital 3 by 5 postcards or pop-up banners or inquiries through the internet, whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, or Trulia. They were the equivalent, or the digital equivalent, of you putting an ad in the newspaper. It didn't really do anything other than maybe create a connection where before the consumer would get the product in their mail and they would look at it and say, I am thinking about it. And they would go, boop, 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 boop. Hi, I'm interested in selling my house. Can you come over? And that's what it did. And now that little boop, 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 now is just click, click, click. But when you realize that all the internet did was replace the ability to solicit the consumer, again, going out and getting them versus paying for them to come to you, you eliminated or created more avenues for the consumers to seek you out and clever angles for you to pursue finding them. So now we have the internet, 2000, I don't know, 1997, whatever, to 2006, 7, 8, 9. Now, in the beginning of the internet, there was this thing called a landing page. And I hate to give you this background, but it's going to lead up to how we're going to get these leads. In the beginning, we would get these landing pages. So you would have a clever website, you would direct people to your website, and they would land on your website. And in 1997 to 2010, a consumer would get somewhere, either they were mailing in a farm, or you would direct them through Google pay-per-click, or you would email, however you would acquire them to come to your website or a website where you advertise in. This is before Zillow. Remember, this is still before Zillow, because it was like 2007, 8. We would have, and this is before the iPhone. We would have this consumer model where the consumer would have to go to a website and fill out a form, whether it was housevalues.com, remember them, Home Game, remember them, There was dozens of these websites that would advertise, come to us for free market analysis, and then these companies would sell it back to you. So these consumers would knowingly go into the platform, type in their information, fill out their information, and then send out that request for an agent to solicit them. Then came the internet 2.0. In 2007, the invention of the iPhone, putting the consumer in control, the Zillow, putting the consumer in control, taking away pretty much two of our most valuable methods, communication and CMA, and putting it in their hands. So now they could do their own homework. So what happens? The real estate agents now start taking their own matters into their own hands by saying, I've got to be able to find a way to solicit these people on their platform. So Zillow originally started off as a platform for CMAs and freebie. It wasn't what it is now, where it became a massive real estate lead generation tool. But don't get me wrong, in 2007 to 2014, I was spending $1,000 to $4,000 a month on Zillow, Trulia, or Realtor.com. But what happened is, and you guys can testify to this, is that since 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, we started seeing a change right around 2010, where the consumer no longer had to log in to get their information to you. Now they were clicking one button that said, hey, sign in or log in with Facebook. Did you notice that now? Now they don't have to physically type in their name and number, and thus a decline in the quality of the internet lead, because you had a consumer who now had a very easy method for saying, I'm curious versus I'm interested. If you're interested, you fill out a form. If you're curious, you click a banner. Now, 2010 to 2013, 14, 15, we had agents who were putting out ads on the internet saying free CMAs, what's your home worth, curious about your house values, and that would convert. You would get people who were like, yes, I'm interested, I'm curious, but it would still be people who are curious about their house value, same like they're curious about the stocks or the weather. It wasn't necessarily someone who says, I'm interested in selling my house, I'm just curious about the values of the house. So now we've got to go to back to the basics. 2015, 16, 17, we see a decline in the ability to generate leads. It converts itself into inquiries. Now, let me get that straight to you. To call an internet lead a lead is it's wrong. It's now called an inquiry. These are individuals who are no longer filling out a total form on a landing page. They're just anonymously logging in to find out what their home is worth. I know, because I still pay into some of these platforms. And you will see, if anyone can give me an amen on this, or a thumbs up wherever you're at, or a high five, that what you used to spend on these platforms no longer get you what they used to do. You're also probably seeing the team model, the teams, the big mega teams, they're shrinking fast because they were able to grow these massive teams. By the way, the other thing that happened in 2007, the iPhone, the market crash, Keller Williams. And they came in with these massive teams. And how did they do that? With Zillow. There's just this like perfect storm from 07 to 09, 10, where the iPhone, the market crash, Keller Williams, agents coming back into the marketplace, and they could buy these leads from these platforms, and they could give all of these brand new agents who are coming into the market a source. And they say, hey, you join our team and we'll give you X amount of leads. And oh my God, there's some people's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And there's still people who are spending that kind of money, but I'm getting calls a lot, and I'm seeing it across the platform where people are saying, I'm shrinking my Zillow budget. So 2016, 17, 18, Zillow starts recognizing that the amount of leads generated versus the amount of homes sold is a problem now. So what do? They start cold calling their own leads to make sure that they're not actually crap before they sell them back to you. That's what they're doing. They can no longer call them leads. Originally, they were called impressions. Then they started calling them leads. Now I don't know what they're calling them. But again, you shouldn't call an internet inquiry a lead, because these individuals are more curious than anything. I have a website, a platform that gives out market analysis, and I see people who go in there every day, leads that I've generated from cold calling and door knocking, who I swear to you, they go in every morning and they check the weather, they check the stocks, they check the news, and they check their property value, and then they move on. Just people, they're just curious to see how much their home's worth, but they're not planning on selling. And I'll call and I'll say, hey, I notice you're looking at the interest, you're interested in their, no, we're just looking. Are you guys having this problem? Me too. So now, given that history, how can we battle against it? Where is the next big play? Where are we going to go get 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads every day? Ladies and gentlemen, I've got bad news for you. It's very hard. I'm seeing a lot of real estate agents who have come in the last 2 or 3 years, and they're leaving the business because they're saying, I didn't realize how hard it was. Me with 26 years experience and hustle and grind, it is hard. It is very, very hard. I don't know where to spend the money. I really don't know where to spend the money. I mean, I know where people will tell me to spend the money. And I know that I will spend the money and have spent the money, but I know also when I look at it, for example, Zillow, I'm looking at my Zillow ad spend, I don't know, a couple $100. I'm not even going to bother with the amounts, because with a minimum amount, someone's going to turn around and say, well, you need to spend more. It's like, there's a limit to how much I'm willing to spend for people to kick the tires. There's a limit. So how much are you willing to spend on these things? What is the threshold? If now it's no longer a lead, how much will you pay for an inquiry? How much are you going to pay per click? And the cost of these things are getting more expensive. I was just talking to, I work for a big company, and I was talking to relocation recently or yesterday, because I had a relocation kind of different thing. And she said, wow, James, I just hope it's not like last year. I'm like, interesting. What's that mean? She goes, well, just the relo is not that good. It's not easy anymore. I said, interesting. What you're telling me is that people are no longer clicking on the internet to find out what their home is worth. They are actually probably already have an agent, because the market is flooded with real estate agents, because we have so much bloating of everybody has an agent. And I think that's one of my biggest objections I have to overcome is I have a friend in the business. No kidding. I think we're probably at the highest peak of the amount of agents in the business right now, because it is a lucrative business. And the problem right now is that eventually you're going to come into the business and you're going to find out how damn hard it is, how much suffering and how difficult it is. And when you come into this business, you come in and you see all these webinars and seminars, Facebook ads. Do I do that? Do I create like a Facebook group? Do I do a buzz or a news you can use, right? Where you create these local entities so that people kind of know who you are, but you stay away from marketing otherwise, because they'll be like, oh, do you create community? So right now we've got these 2 platforms. It's go out and get it or go out and pay for it, right? But going out and pay for it is very, very elusive right now. Nobody really knows where the money is. And somebody will say, and I see these seminars all the time, get X amount of listing leads from these sources, LinkedIn, Trulia, the buzz pages and all that stuff. And I question the use of that word lead versus inquiries or engagements with an authentic human being who can say yes, but maybe they don't, or can say no, but maybe they do. So it goes back to relationships. I don't believe now that spending money on advertising, we're going to start building a relationship business where we have to be the top of mind. That's going to be the next frontier of being top of mind. We're in a place right now where you can't buy recognition, because where you spend the money on being recognized, there's so many places where the consumer is. There's so many different websites, so many social media places. Where can you spend the money to find individuals who are thinking of selling or buying their house, when there are so many places that they go to buy or sell a house? And we're now scrambling, and everybody, the big teams especially, they're looking, where do we go? And they're going to these seminars, they're going to these webinars, and like, what's the next? And they'll dump a couple $1,000 here and there, and they'll realize, that's not it. That's not. And so we're chasing our tails, because this has evolved. It's 2019. Where do we spend our money? Where do we spend our time? Here's where I'm spending my time, and here's where I'm recommending your time. I'm recommending that you spend your time on building relationships, the ones you have, and establishing yourself as the known agent by creating old-fashioned methods, snail mail. Let's talk about the 5 methods for communication, because this is going to be a big play in the modern era. Ready? I'm going to tell them to you right now, and you might want to write this down. 5 methods, 5 levels of communication. Mail. And these are by order of effectiveness. Okay. Effectiveness, mail, email, like sending an email, messenger, text, or I consider, messenger. So we got, and this is for communicating with individuals who you already know. I'm talking about relationships. I'm not about getting people to come to you, because these are still going to be passive, but under these platforms, you're not going to generate people to come in. And this seminar is about how to generate them based on what you need to do. So we're talking about the relationship building platforms that are passive, that you can do with minimal money. You can send out letters, and I'm not talking about farming. Farming is very expensive, and it's a time suck. It's a waste. You don't know where to do it. If you're going to start dropping letters and farming, or using like targeted farming, such as, I don't know, zip stuff, the ones that do zip codes, they have algorithms where there's a higher probability. Even that stuff doesn't guarantee you. So let's say you have a handful of people who have a high probability of selling. What are the odds that they already have an agent, or the odds that you're going to get them? You can give me 10 leads, but I'm going to tell you right now, only one of them do I stand a chance of getting, because 9 of them are there. Why? Because they built that relationship. God. I get depressed to think just how hard it is, and how foolish my comrades are for spending money on training, on methods that might work, but not as effective as it could or should be, fast enough to keep you surviving in this business. Does it make sense? Like, I need you guys to stay in the business long enough. And I do, again, but my incentive for doing this at all is I do one-on-one coaching. I have a monthly membership platform also at $50 a month, where I coach you every day, once a day. You log in, you get a piece of content. I share with you a ton of stuff, 2 webinars a month. If you ever want to check it out, go to jamesfestini.think. The links are here. I'm not pitching you here, because if you want knowledge, if you want coaching, I'm available. But I want to share with you guys my knowledge and my sincerity, so that you go, you know what, this guy's on the right track. I want to follow him. He's a good coach. He's got my best interest in mind. That's why I do these trainings for you. But I'm not going to push it, because I'm a realtor first and a coach second. But I'm really just sad and concerned for your expectations. So let's get back to this. Mail, email, messenger. Now, all of these are, again, mail / newspaper / printed products / farming / everything that you can spend money on to drop in them, whether it's direct mail or indirect massive marketing mail, the original, the oldest, and the least effective. Again, we're going in effectiveness here too. The least effective, how to generate or communicate with relationships. So all these 5 of them I'm going to cite off to you are methods for communication and building a relationship, but they're not necessarily going to generate a lead as effective as you want them to. Mail, farming. Email, that's directly emailing to them, but you still send it and you wait. Messenger, which means like you can send them a text, you can send them a messenger. Somewhere in between email and messenger sits Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, because they're somewhere in between here in this arena of outbound digital marketing, sits those platforms too, because what you're doing is you're sending a digital mail piece, you're putting a banner in front of them, you're sending a card in front of them digitally and saying, I'm the best, or here's a product, here's what it is. And so any one of these 3 platforms, mail, email, or messenger, and they all kind of swing into the Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Facebook advertising, targeted marketing, digital or print marketing. Does this all make sense? We put them in there. And these are all passive. Now we're going to talk about the last 2. And this is how you're going to generate 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads every day, how I do it every day. And they are the most effective, but they're not fun. They're not sexy, but they work. Cold calling or telephone prospecting, picking up the phone. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Get a database of names and numbers, scrub it with the do not call list, pick up the phone and ask a simple question. And if you can get enough people to say no, you will get enough people to say maybe. And if you get enough people to say maybe, you will find someone who says yes. You set an appointment, you go out there, list them. If they're in your sphere of intense interest, or if they're in your marketplace, obviously now you have a sign and you have a sale. and you have some marketing, and then you can leverage these. Here's the big catch with these internet avenues. If you don't have a listing or a product to sell, i.e., a listing, a home to sell, putting out a mailer is just an ego piece, right? What's that? How's the market? What's the market doing, right? I mean, it's just like, right? But if you're promoting yourself in print ad, here's what I've sold, here's my success rate, I've sold this amount of house, hey, new house for sale, just listed, just sold, right? Email, hey, if you have a database of people in your community or anywhere, you can send an email to them, say, hey, I've got a listing, and then they can see your success. Just a reason to remind them, other than, hey, I'm still in the business. That doesn't work because that's annoying, instead of providing some sort of like announcement versus annoyance. Got it? And then, of course, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Messenger, and all that stuff, where you can spend money to promote your listing via Facebook advertising, which definitely works. But anybody who knows, you pretty much should have a listing and a marketing plan around Facebook marketing, other than just, hi, I'm in the business. Hi, are you curious what your home is worth? Versus new listing in this targeted community, 3-bedroom, 4-bath, anybody who's looking in this area, anybody who lives in this area. You can work a lot better when you have something to show, other than I'm the best. That's a hard sell. Everyone's the best. I see that thumbs up. Thank you. It's a very long and meticulous analysis of this sourcing of where to get them and what is the best method for generating 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads a day. You guys are all sitting here patiently, 28 minutes. You're like, when's he going to tell me? Here's the deal. Past clients, sphere of influence, not that great of a source for me. Why? Because I really don't have a whole lot of past clients. Even 1,000 homes sold plus, my past clients and sphere of influence are not necessarily a source that I can solicit to too often before they're like, James, what the hell's the matter with you? I know you're in the business. How many times are you going to come on now? And then you start alienating them. So there's a certain threshold of like, dude, seriously, come on. And many of these past clients' sphere of influence are on Facebook. So when you post a new posting, they see it and kind of like dismissively say, oh, he's still in the business. All right. And if they happen to know of someone, you can go in there along the lines, not directly saying, hey, if you know of anyone, I'd love an referral. I would do anything I can. When you can refer, you know, the speech, the sticker on the back of the cards. So we'll go back to the 2 ways that I'm seeing right now that are the most effective methods for getting 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads. It's a lot of work. I'm sorry. You can spend the money here, but you need to get a listing. And if we're talking about generating bona fide listing leads, 1 to 5 bona fide listing, 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads every day, that's the beauty of this business. You know where your leads are. They're door. You know where they live. What other industry? I guess solar, right? The newspaper. I guess there's a few industries. What industry can you know of where you know where your customer exists better than real estate? You know where they live and you know the product. That's just crazy. Like it just, trying to go door to door and selling solar, maybe they don't need it. But even if I was in the solar business, I would still do door to door to door because I know where they are and I know where my product can be used. So we're going to talk about telephone prospecting and we're going to talk about door knocking. Telephone prospecting, old fashioned. Look, there is a right way and a wrong way to cold call. Let's get this out of the way. Nobody likes to be called. I don't want to hear anything about it's 2019. Nobody likes to be called, because I got news for you. They didn't like being called in 1993 when I started in this business. They didn't like being called in 1953 when the old fashioned salespeople would pick up the phone and dial, smile while you dial. They have never liked it. It's as if there's this era that people didn't have a problem with it and now they do. No, they never did. So how do we avoid that? Because as a telemarketer, we're going to talk about telemarketing and door knocking, actually going outbound solicitation, how to overcome that fear of doing this so that you don't have a reservation over doing this. I generate 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads every day from these two sources. And when I generate a listing, then I go back to these sources: mail, email, and Zillow, Truly, Realtor.com, Facebook ads, and I advertise them, and I hold open houses, and I work with buyers, and I solicit the neighborhood, and I generate more. And then the ultimate goal is not to have to door knock and cold call forever, but to create a database of individuals because of your success that you can just do this and be yourself and have enough business. We're not talking about you're going to be doing this for the next 5 or 10 years. This is temporary. This is for you to start a business. That's why I'm doing this for the newer agents, or the agents who are in a slump right now. Are like, where am I going to do this? It's really frustrating to be at the end of the rope. You know what I mean? You get a new listing, and then it sells, and then you have no listings, but you go on vacation anyhow, and then you come back, you get a listing, it sells, you go on vacation, now you don't have any inventory, and like this. Oh my God, I don't know. Are insurance premiums higher for real estate agents because of the stress? Is this one of the most stressful jobs? But it's because we don't set our thermostat to success. Some of us only need to make $1,000 or $10,000 a month. And so we say, as long as I make 10 grand a month, that's fine. But what about the months that you don't, and you have sleepless nights? What about a marketplace that used to feed you and now it doesn't? Are you scared? Are any of you guys scared? I'm scared. That's why I work so freaking hard, because I'm scared. I'm being honest with you. That's my transparency exposure. I don't like my inventory levels. I don't like the market right now. I'm not saying end of the world, gloom and doom, but I'm saying the difficulty to find them. It's been a long time since I've had to work so hard to find a homeowner and convert them. You see, from 1993 to 2007, all these awards back here, a lot of them are from me picking up the phone. No past clients, no sphere of influence. They're just picking up the phone. How you think sell? No. How you think sell? No. How you think? And I would close them, and I would set appointments. Now, setting appointments from a cold call isn't quite the same. Establishing a relationship, finding these homeowners who don't already have an agent isn't the same. So we've got this increase in agents in the industry and this decrease of being able to find them. So I know now what I have to do. I know what I have to do, and I have to go back to basics, and so do you. If you're finding it hard, if your business, I'm not talking to people whose businesses are set. If your business is set, man, you could teach me a thing or two. I'm talking about the people who don't know where that next lead is coming from, who don't know where that next paycheck is coming from, where you're sitting here, it's 9 a.m., day one of your real estate business, or day 1,000, and you're like, where am I going? Because I don't know. If I had one superpower, I'd probably want to I'd follow you guys, and I'd be like, when you kiss your significant other goodbye and say, I'm going to the office, I want to know what you're doing. If you're not selling 24 houses a year, what are you doing? If you're in a higher end market, then I get it. That's a lot to ask. But if you're in a low end market, yeah, I mean, one a month, does that pay the bills? Then good for you. But do you have one sometimes where it's like 2 in 1 month and 0 in the next month? That's scary. Back to scary time. And I don't like that. I don't fucking like that. God. If only the company has these seminars once in a while where they turn around and say, hey, James, you want to go up on the panel? But they don't invite me anymore, because one time they asked the question, if I could give any advice to a new agent, what would it be? I would tell you, if you could do anything besides sell real estate, I mean, we're talking septic tank repair, professional fly swatter, anything, please do that. Because what happens is we come into this business, however we discovered this business, we come in here and say to ourselves, it's going to be luxurious, that it's going to be, I don't know. Do they know it's going to be work? I mean, I have to assume it's going to be work. But that may be Bravo TV or something you saw on TV, or maybe when you got to the office, or maybe your manager said, hey, come on in here and we're going to give you a name and a number, and you call that number, and then you show up at a house and you fill out paperwork, and then you get paid thousands of dollars. I really don't understand. Now, maybe it's Bravo TV that's killing it for this generation, because they're going in there and seeing, the Altmans and the Flags and the other ones, but they're not seeing their foundation. They're not seeing their day one. None of those guys are day one, you know. Ryan Searhant, Frederick Eklund, all of those guys will tell you that they were cold calling, that they had to door knock, that they were in the trenches, that they were really trying to get themselves established as agents the old-fashioned way. They had to go out and hustle. And now, by recognition and a database and people, but how are you going to get the database established? You got to go out and pick up the phones or go knock on the door. So here's my last strongest suggestion here. And I'm going to help you overcome your concern about going out and generating 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads every day. I'm 100% convinced that by calling people and door knocking people, you are interrupting. It's annoying. Nobody likes it. Get over it. Nobody has ever liked it. It's not as if because now that it's 2019 that you missed the heyday and then back in the day everybody loved it, but now you're somehow a monster for doing it. It's never been sexy. It's never been regarded as annoying. But I'm going to tell you right now, as you guys, as my viewers, as my witness, you would be surprised how few nasty people out there. Sure, on the phone, they hang up on you. I get hung up on a lot. At the door, very, 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 very nice people. You would think that people would get nasty and mad. They don't. They're wonderful people. People are nice in nature. But here's the thing. This is the most important thing, the most important part of this lesson. If you're going to go out and generate leads, is that if that interruption is annoying, it's up to you to accomplish 2 things in this interruption. Find out if there is a lead, and if it is not a lead, get off their lawn, get off the phone. So right now there's hundreds of scripts out there for cold calling, door knocking, calling expireds for sub owners, whatever. They're all annoying because what they're trying to do is get you to start a conversation. This is the one thing that is for a fact in 2019. And that is the attention span of the individual. You saw it was like 6 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever. The attention span of individuals nowadays is 5 seconds. I heard 8 seconds, but I think that study was done in like 2016. It's 2019. Trust me, I think it's more like 5 seconds. So the most valuable thing you can do, if you are willing to take the road less traveled, because it is the only road, I'm going to tell you right now too, there are only 5 ways to do this. There are no new methods being invented on how to generate leads. Hasn't been in a long time. The 3 have been invented in the last couple of years, email and text messenger. But otherwise, it's been mail and marketing. Yeah, you can do bus benches and post-it notes and toilet paper, but it's print, right? Newspaper, print, TV, and that's kind of like internet, but now no one watches TV, and real estate agents don't really ever do TV. But we're talking about marketing versus solicitation. You see, if it's a passive method and they receive and they throw it in trash, there's not a solicitation. It can be very passive and highly ineffective and extremely expensive to create the volume of marketing to convert it to a solicitation. And that's only by capturing their attention that they say, I am interested. Otherwise, it's trash. So you got to have a really good website or a really good internet marketing, a really good call to action. And the high probability of that failure is extremely high because nobody really knows where, even though they'll tell you, yes, sign up for my seminar, sign up for my webinar, and I'll show you how to generate listings from LinkedIn. How many? How much? Because at the end of the rainbow, they're going to say, for a cost. You want to generate listings on Facebook? How much? You want to generate listings from Zillow, TrulyRealtor.com? How much money you got? That's what it is. And I'm trying to show you guys bona fide ways to generate listings without going broke, because you could spend a lot of money on these platforms and they will work. But how do you know which one works? How do you know how much to spend? And how do you know when to stop? It's a full-time job just to understand, where do I spend this and is it working? And a lot of you I know are sitting there spending the money to this minute And I bet you that if you went in there and said to your significant other, honey, let's take a look at this $250 or $500 bill and see exactly what came of it, because you have this security blanket that you're paying for it. But the security blanket is just a lie. It's not really there. Maybe you're getting things, but they're not really converting, or maybe it does kind of break even. And don't give me that like, well, with one of those, I can pay the year. Well, okay, then it works, I guess, right? I mean, I don't know. That doesn't add up to me. Like, that's not profit. That's break even. With one of those, you pay for the year. Okay, but how long do you have to pay before you get one of those? If we're starting out, where do you know? How do you know? Who do you know? I can't imagine a brand new agent thinking that if they don't have a listing and they don't have anything to advertise, that they're going to run a Facebook ad on what? What's your home worth? What are the values in the neighborhood? Hire the best company in the world, and they're going to do the same thing. And they're going to be like, you really should get a listing, because then you have something to advertise, and then people are going to be curious about that. Otherwise, what's your unique selling proposition? I'm great. I do discounts. Door knocking and cold calling. I'm going to give you my final note on this, and that is the script. The script at the door is everything. The script on the phone is everything. Now, relating to the 5 to 10 second attention span that may be myth, probably true for the individual. On the phone or at the door, you need to accomplish two things. Do you have a lead? Yes or no? If you don't have a lead, thank you very much. Have a nice day. How do you do that in less than 10 seconds? You ready for my script? Hi, my name is James. I'm with Century 21 Real Estate. I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. Now listen to that. Watch my countdown. Ring, ring. Hi, my name is Agent with Company, and I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. Within 5 seconds, I identify myself and I ask my question. Now, what's going to happen with the other script, comparing my 5-second script? I'll get a no, and I'm out within 6 seconds, in and out. Pain-free. If you can't ask that question, I don't know what's the matter with you. What's the worst they're going to say? Who are you? What do you want, you mother blankety blank? Like, it just doesn't happen. It's so rare. Trust me, I dial a lot of phone numbers. Doesn't happen. And if it does, sorry to bother you. Thank you. Have a nice day. And then don't call them again. No problem. No one's reaching through the phone. There's no digital chokeout. Okay. It's not going to happen. What's the worst fear? My worst fear. What's your name? How did you get my number? I'm on the do not call list. That's going to be $12,000. I overcome those with easy scripts. I'm on the do not call list. I'm not going to say, no, you're not, because I comply. My biggest fear with telemarketing is being in trouble for non-compliance with the do not call list. I comply with the do not call list. I teach you how to comply. Everybody who I teach, compliance, scrub your list, fear and objection gone. Where did you get my number? There's nothing wrong with that question. Where did you get my number? I buy phone numbers on the internet and I call them. Do you have any interest in selling your house? Did you see what just happened here? I'm staying on track, and we're going to talk about this. The mentality and the approach of these individuals when they're being solicited. You know how then you go to the doctor and they hit you on the knee, and then the knee jerks. What are they doing there? They're looking for some sort of response. What I'm trying to do is get a knee-jerk response. Now, my script is designed to get their knee to jerk, and the knee jerk is no. And people will come in and they'll see me telemarketing or making my calls, and they'll be like, this is the worst script ever. Of course they're going to say no. Do you even get leads this way? I'm like, yeah, listen. And once I tell you this, you're going to be like, is this true? And then if you're willing to do it, you can take you can hire me as a one-on-one, or you can do the $50 a month membership. Just find my coaching products, please. I will teach you. It's so easy. It's not what you think it is. And it's not what you think it is. I promise you. Just rip off the Band-Aid, suck it up, or pay these platforms. I mean, what are the alternatives? Leave the business? It's 2019. Are you almost out? Like, there's a lot of real estate agents who are out of the business a year ago. They just don't know it. They're still feeding it. And then at one point they're going to run out, and their spouse can be like, okay, game over. Go get another job. You're not selling anything. It's going to happen. It's hard. It's hard business. It's hard business. So we go back into the 3 methods and pay for it, or we go out and get them. My script is designed. So let's use this script, for example, to give you a very good example of what I'm talking about with the attention span and how my script is far and away the most effective script on the planet versus anybody else's. And anybody else's use this script, they're going to be able to say that's Festini's, because I've been using this since 93 and it's more effective than ever. Let's use the other guy's script. I've got them all memorized. So let's see this. You probably recognize it. Ready? And you'll see the differences. Ring, ring. Hi, Mrs. Jones. This is Mr. Jones. Oh, sorry. Mr. Jones, my name is Agent with Company. How are you today? I'm fine. Well, the reason for my call is that we've recently listed a house around the corner, or somebody's recently listed around the corner, whatever that is. And we know that when one person lists their home, 3 more are going to come on the marketplace. And we're just wondering, when do you plan on selling? 15 seconds. Nearly 3 times the amount of time to spit it out of their mouth. Ready for another one? Hi, ring, ring. Hi, Mr. Jones. This is Mr. Jones. Mrs. Jones. Hi, Mrs. Jones. This is Agent with Company. How are you today? I'm on the toilet. How can I help you? Well, the reason for my call is that we were canvassing the neighborhood and we work with homeowners and sellers in the area. And we're just wondering, who do you know who's thinking of selling their house? I'm not thinking of selling my house. Fantastic. How long have you lived in this home? What the hell do you want to know? I'm on the toilet. Didn't you hear me? Well, that's great. And if you were to move, where would you go next? I'm on the toilet. All right. Thank you very much. Nowadays, I mean, this is a scenario. It's an extreme scenario. 15 seconds for the scripts that are out there. 15 seconds in a world where the human has the attention span of a goldfish is a lifetime. 15 seconds when nowadays you don't know where they are on the phone. I mean, cordless phones, forwarding to their cell phone, wherever they're at, they are not expecting your call. So your interruption needs to be as minimal as possible unless they have an interest. So here we go. Here's the magic, man. You guys are getting value now. It is impossible for you to think yes and say no without me knowing you're thinking yes. What are you talking about, Festini? I'm not kidding you at all. Within 5 seconds of me asking my question, it is impossible for someone to think, yes, I am interested in selling, and say no without me knowing it. And I prove it day after day after day. And my students, as soon as you know this, it's almost like I'm giving you like the secret glowing, like unknown. This is unknown. This is not on the periodic table of elements for telephone prospecting, lead generation, or sales, but I guarantee you, this is real. It's from outer space, from my brain. If a homeowner has the time to register and process that they are being pitched, sold, maneuvered, manipulated into a sales process or being solicited, absolutely they are going to say no. And I will not be able to pick up on that. So if I use the other script, hi, Mrs. Jones, this is Mr. Jones. Mrs. Jones, this is Agent with Company. And well, the reason for my call, well, how are you today? Let me fast forward because we're running out of time. I'm not going to go through the whole script. If the homeowner, when they pick up the phone or they open the door, has enough time during this countdown to think, if they open the door and they're like, oh, real estate agent, what does he want? Okay, well, yeah, but God, this guy talks a lot. Actually, this is not a good time right now. I was on the toilet, but yeah, I am actually thinking of selling. But no, this guy just get off my lawn. Okay, no, I'm not interested. They have enough time psychologically or metaphysically to prepare their mind to prepare that knee-jerk reaction. So here's an example. If you've never done this before, then you'll know what I'm setting you up for. Okay. Look around your room right now and look for everything that is red. Okay, just real quick, I'm going to count to 5. Look at everything that is red in your room. We're going to try a little memory trick, right? Look for everything that is red. Red, 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 red. Okay. Now close your eyes and tell me everything that is blue. See, the thing is that you weren't looking for the blue. Go ahead and open your eyes if you weren't. You weren't looking for the blue. You were looking for the red. I prepared you to look for the red. So if I prepare you to answer my question with a no, but I know ahead of time that I'm going to trick you into blue. If the homeowner red means no, and blue means yes, I'm going to get weird on this, and blue means yes. If I go to the door and I say, "Hi, Mr. Homeowner, look for everything that's red," and they say, "Okay," and then I go in there and say, "Where's the blue?" They don't know how to respond because they're caught off guard. They're like, "I was thinking this." If a homeowner is thinking yes, and they say no, but they haven't prepared for that answer, I will pick up on it. This might sound crazy, man, but I'm telling you, if you try this, you'll be like, wow, this is really weird. It is weird. I do it every day. Join me. My next time I'm out there, I do my live prospecting all the time on YouTube. You will see. I will go, and I know this works because for every 100 people I talk to, here's the numbers. For every 100 people I talk to, contacts. Now remember, a contact is an individual who can say yes, but maybe they don't. Meaning they said no. Okay. An individual is a contact who can say no, but maybe they do. That's a lead, right? Out of every 100 people I talk to and I ask that question, 3 of them are going to do this. 3 of them. No, 6 or 7 of them are. This is the way it's every time. I'm going to say, "Hi, my name is Agent with Company. I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house." And they say, "No." Did you hear that? Pay attention. No. I'm thinking yes and I'm saying no. And I know that they're thinking yes by the way they say no. I'm going to say no 4 different times and see if you can pick up on what I'm thinking. You guys are like, whoa, this is crazy. I hope. Otherwise, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm not. Ready? No. 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 Not right now. Did you pick them up? It is impossible. There are only 2 answers that they're going to give you. They're going to give you no. Let's just assume ahead of time that they're never going to say yes. Damn, James. If they're never going to say yes, then that's a lot of calls. No. I'm not looking for the yes. I'm looking for no. You ever seen that book, Go for No? There's an unwritten chapter called Go for No, Listen for Maybe. They say maybe in their voice. And if you watch me prospecting and if you watch me door knocking, every time without fail, when they say no or not right now, I follow up with a question. I don't say, "Thank you very much. Have a nice day." I don't walk away with that. That would be crazy. If I did that, I would definitely fail. The whole point of this is to identify an individual who might be thinking about it as fast as possible and get away from the individuals who are not thinking about it as fast as possible. That kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Getting over your fear of cold calling or door knocking and getting the ability to have leads generated from cold calling and door knocking by asking the simplest question known. "Hi, my name is Agent with Company. I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house." "Nope. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Have a nice day." Over and over until, if I've enlightened you guys, please do me a favor. If I've enlightened you, if this makes sense, if you try it, just try it. If you're not willing to telephone prospect or door knock, then generating 3 to 5, I'll give you in a nutshell. It's been 56 minutes. I'll give you in a nutshell how to generate 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads a day doing these 3 passive methods. How much money you got? I can't answer that question until you tell me how much money you got. That's how you generate 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads. Right now, Zillow, I would say $1,000 a month. Maybe you'll generate 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads a month at $1,000. Maybe, but it's gonna be a ton of buyers and tire kickers, and maybe $1,000. But if it was $1,000, then why isn't the number one agent buying every single slot? There's no rule against a monopoly. If the number one agent wants to buy all of them, they could buy them. Just be like, screw you all, pay it. Here you go, Zillow, all me, right? I think. I don't know. If you got money, try these other methods. Maybe they'll work. But if you got muscle, if you got the mindset, if you're really ready to go out and do this and go out and pick up the phone, get a database. I've got my source is Cole. I'll put the link in here. The link is in here. Follow me on Facebook and YouTube. Follow me on all the platforms that you'll know where I'm at. Soon I'm going to go out and door knock. So if you guys want to join me in about, 30 minutes, you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/James Festini, and you're going to join me. You guys can watch me. Like I take this phone here, my Note 8, and I take my iPhone and I lay it right on top and I live stream on this phone, and you guys are going to be watching me. I'll share with you guys my door knocking. And then I'm using this to track my progress and listen to podcasts, but I carry 2 phones so that I could broadcast my telephone or my door knocking. So here's the dealio, guys and gals. I'm going to wrap this up. If you learn how to listen to the variation of no that means maybe, and you will see me, I did it earlier today, and I got one person in 30 minutes who said maybe in the new year. She said no. She didn't say maybe later. They never say that. If they say yes, they're screwing around. Seriously, like if they say yes, something's not right. If they say yes, they're either listed, they're for sale by owner, or they've got an agent, or they're messing around with you. They just don't say yes. So that's okay. I found the back door. The back door is in the maybe, in the way they say no. For every 100 doors that I knock, write this down if you want. For every 100 doors that I knock, 25 people will answer, right? For every 25 people I speak to at the door, I will generate 25. Some neighborhoods, I'll do 3. I'll do 5. There was one time where I generated like 7 in like 3 hours. It was insane. You just never know. Some pockets, it's like a slot machine, man. You just never know when it's going to hit. So you got to just keep pulling. It's the way the business works. But I will get, like today, perfect example. The lady said, no, not right now. I'm like, oh, here's the magic question when you hear that variation. Do you think maybe later down the road you'd reconsider? Do you think maybe, I'm going to say it. Do you think maybe later down the road you'd reconsider? That is me physically pulling away, retracting, saying I'm no longer a salesperson. I'm no longer closing it. I know it's not right now. We're detaching from this moment. All these things are happening in my tone of voice and my attitude and my approach. You think maybe later down the road you'd reconsider? Well, maybe. All right, great. I'd love to keep in touch. Maybe later, And that will open. Like all they have to do is say, yeah, maybe. And I've got 101 scripts beyond that. But once you get past that, now you know you have it. And I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 of them, you'll get them. 1 out of 10, they'll be like, no, not right now. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. It's fine. Now maybe say 6 out of 10 you'll get. And 4 out of 10, they'll be like, no, not right now. You think maybe later down the road? Well, maybe. All right. Well, I'd love to keep in touch with you. I could send you out some information, maybe later if the numbers are good. Like, no, we don't need that right now. That's fine. But there's still a lead. The lady today did not give me her name and number. Did I generate a lead if I don't have a name and number? Absolutely. Because I know where she lives. And she said in a year. So I'm going to begin to use the first and only method right now, and that is the mail. I'm going to get her on a mail campaign, but this mail campaign is 100 times more effective than you mailing to an entire neighborhood of people who don't plan on selling, or probably realtors or renters or just moved in or probably wrong address, all that stuff, versus me going and targeting this individual. I do that once, 2, 3 times a day. I get someone who is super hot. It's out there. Telephone prospecting, same thing. You think, hi, my name's Agent with Company. I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. Well, no, not right now. Oh, you think maybe later down the road you'd well, maybe. You have any idea what it's worth? Well, we kind of I'd love to send you out some information on the values. We could keep in touch. Maybe later I can help. Okay, great. What's your email address? And I will get an email address and a name and a number. 100 doors I knock on, 25 people will answer. Out of those 25 people that answer, I will definitely generate 1 to 3 bona fide listing leads at the door. I generate 1 bona fide listing listing lead at the door for every hour I door knock. That's it. Telemarketing, telephone prospecting, I generate one bona fide listing lead for every 2 hours. It's weird. You would think that it'd be more, but the telephone's a lot harder. Telephone's a lot harder. I can still hear it, but because you're hitting so many people, I'll still pick up on that maybe, but it's a whole different maybe, but it's possible. Monday night, I think it was, I generated 2 ridiculous. I generated 5. It was a good day of telephone prospecting, but I did like 180 contacts, not like calls, contacts. We talk about that another time. Anyhow, this was a very long session. I hope I enlightened you. I really hope. The one thing I would ask of all of you guys is, if you've learned anything, here's where all the people start leaving. If you've learned anything at all, go to my website. I have a $50 a month membership platform. Quit anytime. $50 a month, Monday through Friday. You log on to a platform. It's not just like an email or a text. You actually log onto a platform, and I teach you these things, scripts, dialogues. I open my entire world to you for $50 a month, 5 days a week. And then twice a month, I do a webinar just like this for that group. It's called the Festini Mafia Membership. Follow the links below. You can follow me on YouTube, Facebook, whatever you want. More importantly, if you really want to grind, I'm right now personally challenging myself. If you guys haven't read that book by David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me, about an ultra marathon Navy SEAL, total badass. I mean, the guy's just insane. I am right now challenging myself to knock on 100 doors and make 100 phone contacts every single day. It is called the Beast Mode Lead Gen Prospecting Challenge. It's $300 for you to join, but that gives you 50 videos on everything I talked about. It's pretty much one-on-one, 50 video lessons on the back end. How do I communicate? What do I drop off? What do I deliver? Scripts, dialogues, objection handlers, marketing material, 50 videos. It's 100 videos. It's over 50 hours of video for $300. You just log in, learn at your own pace. Most of the people, I'm just saying, guys, get what you need and go to work. 100 doors and 100 that's insane. Like I'm eliminating 99% of you guys who's like, I'm not knocking on 100. I've never knocked on a door in my life. Now you're going to do 100. I'm like, do you want to generate leads? Do you have another option? I mean, I guess if you have another option, the worst thing that you could do for your business is to have an option. Like I say, you don't ever want to have to. You never want to have to. When your back's up against the wall and you have to, you never want to have to, but you have to want to. And to have to want to is very hard when you don't have to want to. If you've got a spouse, a significant other paying your bills, if you got a fat nest egg, if this is your hobby, then you're not gonna, you want to, but not like I have to. You never have to want to. You never want to have to, meaning you never want to have to do something, right? But you definitely have to want to in this business. If you don't want to, if you don't have that passion and the desire, that's what's scary about the industry. It's the expectations are there. You want to, you go in the business. Oh, I want to sell real estate. I want to show houses. Man, I want to so bad. I want to so bad. But do you have to? Because if you don't have to and you just want to, that's not going to give you much to survive on. So if you have to and you really want to, take that it's a 100-day challenge. It's 100 videos every day of the week. That's $300, the most ridiculous priced ever. I think Grant Cardone's like $12,000 for 40 hours of video. I'm giving you $300 for 50 hours of video, and he's not even in real estate, and nor do his videos translate for the most part. If you want to go down that road, like I said, it's $300. Go to jamesfestini.com. That's right there. That program right there is all you need. But if you can't afford $300, then the majority of that is in that $50 membership. It's just sliced up in smaller chunks because you need to do it bite size. The Ultra Marathon Prospecting Challenge, the Beast Mode Lead Gen Ultra Marathon Prospecting Challenge, inspired by David Goggins, hardcore badass book, is for those of you who are like, that's it. I'm taking the red pill or the red. Like, this is for people who are just like, they're here. They don't have a choice. They need a listing yesterday. If you need a listing today, how do you think you're going to get it? If you need a listing today and you don't have money, how do you think you're going to get it? Prayer? Rain dance? I don't know. I know. Oh, wait, I know. You can't knock on 100 doors. And if you don't get a listing from 100 doors, go make 100 calls. And if you don't get 100, if you don't get a listing from 100 contacts and 100 doors, guess what? You probably got a lead or 3. And take those and follow up with them. Have an effective follow-up campaign, have an effective CRM, have an effective method to communicate with these individuals so that when they are ready, you're there. If you didn't start 3 months ago, here's where you are. If you don't start today, where will you be 3 months from now? Please. The one-on-one coaching, I do offer that. It's $1,000 for 90 days. If you got $1,000 and you're like, just turn on the fire hose, James. I drink the Kool-Aid. The $1,000 a month just takes me away from my life and my business. I'm not charging you more than my time is worth, and my knowledge is the bonus. So if you guys really like one-on-one coaching, $1,000 for 3 months, that's like 333. If you need payments, just hit me up. Just ask. I'll make it available. I heard Tom Ferry's like $600 a month paid quarterly. And I didn't even talk to Tom. But why would you? Because he never sold real estate. Rather than having me who shows you the mechanics. I know there's a guy out there who does it for free. I know there's a guy out there who does it for like $1,000 and $99 a month, and you can talk to him anytime. But what I am is, those are driving lessons, right? I don't think you need driving lessons. I'm a mechanic. My content teaches you the mechanics, the ins and outs. Where do I put my leads? Where do I get my leads from? Where do I say? How do I do this? What's inside of a CMA presentation? What's inside of a SLAM package? What do I do when this happens? What do I do when that happens? And they're going to be like, no, just stay, put your left turn signal. You're like, no, I need a mechanic. My stuff's like not working right. And usually I say, with 1 or 2 one-on-one coaching sessions, you're at least back on track. This is a fine tuning, like the chiropractor. You know what I mean? Those guys are more like, I don't know what my method is very different. I'm really just here. Thank you, by the way, everybody. I can see your comments coming through. Thank you for joining me. I hope it gave you guys the back end lesson, and I hope my sincerity. I think that's the biggest thing I really want to translate to you as a fellow real estate agent in the business and a coach, is that I'm not here to sell you anything that's not worth it. And I'm not here to pitch you on stuff that doesn't work. If it doesn't work, I wouldn't use it. That's why, I've canceled my affiliations with several different products over the years, because I don't use it. I'm not promoting anything I don't use. And in the same vein, I'm not going to tell you something that doesn't work to get you to pay me so that it doesn't work. I don't understand how these other gurus keep coaching clients for years and years, teaching them stuff that doesn't really work. Like, where do they get this money? How do they get these? I don't know how they get these people. I don't understand, man. I need to cure your illness. I don't need to prolong this. I need you to we need to do this thing. You have a need. I want to fill it. So again, $50 a month for the Mafia membership. That's a no brainer. $50, cancel anytime, quit anytime. $50 a month, please. Just in that first 5-day window, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I get it. Right. Next one's going to be obviously the $300 a month. My timer's going off. Obviously the $300 for the 100 days. That's pretty legit. That's super, super, super cheap. I went out with that product planning on being $1,000, but I'm like, agents don't want to spend money. I know, I'm one of you. You're cheap. I get it. The products that I'm putting out there are definitely more value than the cost, because I know what it's like to pay for something. Be like, and then one-on-one, like me and you, FaceTime, face-to-face, 30 minutes a week, $1,000 a month, 333, or $1,000 up front, or 333. Just let me help you, man. Let me help you. Thank you for joining me on this webinar. Like I said, I'm going out door knocking. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Instagram. I am live there all the time. Take care.